Okay, hi.
Hi, it works now.
Hi.
Okay, to start, do you like consent to this being recorded for like promo?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to start by giving like a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Nat. My real name is Nat without the G, but my artist name is Nat with a G. And I'm just a singer-songwriter who is working in, like slightly alternative singer-songwriter stuff, but just lots of harmonies, lots of words. And I'm originally from Seattle, but I just moved to LA and I'm really liking it out here. And I'm about to release a song called Phil on March 28th that I'm really excited about. And that's what we're going to talk about today, I think.
Cool, perfect. Who inspired you to start like writing and pursuing music as a career?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, honestly. I've been thinking about that all day because I don't know if there was a specific who. Um, I I feel like I just kind of did, like before I knew who artists were, or like anyone's name or anything. When I was a really little kid, we had a piano that nobody played in my house, and I just like got on it and started teaching myself stuff. And singing and writing lyrics came really quickly, like as soon as I could talk, sort of. So I don't know if there's a specific person, but then as I was growing up, I would listen to a lot of classic rock with my dad, and then I got big into like Christina Perry and like those sort of more emotional singer-songwriter gals that were big in like 2008. And I think it was a combination of those things that brought me to like, oh, I'm gonna start songwriting in a real way.
That's cool. And if you have like a set writing process, like do you start with lyrics or melody? What would that usually look like?
Yeah, I think that my songwriting process is pretty emotion driven. So usually there's like a situation or a just like a gut feeling that I have. And then I try and tap into that as best as I can. But I know in terms of literal process, I know a lot of artists start with lyrics and then put music to that. Like I just heard someone talking about how Phoebe Bridgers writes like in her notes app a lot, and then we'll bring that into an instrumental situation. I am almost 100% of the time doing the opposite thing. So I make myself write a structured, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that playing. Um, I make myself write like a true song structure of just chords that feels like it has some sort of synergy with the feeling that I'm trying to get to. And then usually once I have that set up, the lyrics just sort of happen. But I definitely think a lot more consciously about the music and then the words come next.
That's really interesting because like a lot of people start with lyrics. Like when I would write songs, I would start with lyrics. Um, Along the lines of that, like what themes or messages do most of your like songs like communicate, and what do you want your fans and listeners to get from your songs?
Yeah, I think most of my songs are just about feelings or situations and the feelings that come of them. I think that the EP that my song Phil is the single of, which is called It Better Be Perfect, and that's going to come out in about 2 months. That definitely has a lot of themes that are sort of about like grief and absence and like longing a little bit. In that the I don't know, the sort of way that you can't really escape, and like when people who are really important to you like let you down or you have expectations that are too high. And so I think my music is like sort of a safe place for like disappointed perfectionists to land. And it's about accepting emotion as a valid thing that needs to be processed, and understood. I know for a lot of people it can be like a little too emotional in that way, but I think that feelings are really important and we need to talk about them and write about them. And I think that the people who will enjoy my music and who I want my music to connect with are people who like really want to get in touch with their emotions, especially in terms of their relationships to other people.
Yeah, that's perfect. And if you're comfortable, like what is like the deeper meaning behind Phil?
Yeah, Phil. I wrote Phil about a month after a really big breakup. It was my first serious relationship, and I was feeling really devastated by just like the absence of that person. And so I feel like, I don't know, something just like a switch flipped a little bit after I had an experience with like the first person after that. And I freaked out and I just didn't know what was going on. And I felt like I had done too much too fast. And like I was still really grieving that first person. And there was this, Phil uses the metaphor of hunger. And I think that hunger is really the best way to describe that like really intense longing that you have for somebody who just so suddenly leaves your life and was such an important part of your life, almost like, you know, eating and drinking and breathing. Like that's all stuff that we have to do. This person sort of felt like that for me. And so Phil is about learning how learning how and also just coping with having to deal with that person's absence. And it's the whole metaphor is just about like food and kind of being sick. And yeah, I don't know. It was inspired by that breakup, but then it took on definitely a bigger theme of just what it's like to be missing something really important in your life.
It's really pretty. I kind of got that when I was listening to it for the first time. And
Good,
just
I'm
like some
glad.
more like funner questions. What is like your favorite part about being like an artist?
I think that my favorite part of being an artist is showing people a song for the first time. I'm definitely not a musical artist for like the attention or anything. But I do really like having these established relationships with people in my life who are just my friends or family or loved ones or whatever, but also the like few dedicated fans that I have do get like really excited when something new is presented to them. And I get very excited when I write a new song. And so, like, feeling another person's visceral reaction to like a new creation of mine and like connecting with other people on that front is really satisfying. It's really fun. And I love the songwriting process, but I the sharing aspect of that is maybe my favorite part.
Yeah. And then what have been like some challenges that you face being like a smaller artist?
It's just hard to be a small artist, man. It's like you specifically when it comes to social media, I think that's the top one. When I set out to be a musician, I never expected that I would have to become an influencer to like get people engaged. And that part is hard because I feel like such a big, like the foundational piece of my message and my identity as an artist is like tapping into authenticity. And it's hard to, I much prefer stuff like this because I think I like actually get to connect with someone and talk in a real way. And like having to somehow evoke that feeling in an Instagram post is really tough, but then you don't get things like shows or residencies or like incubator opportunities if you don't have a following. And so I'm struggling to reconcile that. And I just want to connect with people in a real way. And sometimes the internet does not feel like genuine connection.
Yeah, it feels like with this like new digital era, it can be like harder, but it can also bring like a lot of good sides of it. Like it can like
Mhm.
branch out your like fan base and such, which is what we're trying to help with. So, and then the last question I have is who would you want to collaborate Like with any artist, dead or alive, who would you want to collaborate with?
Oh my gosh, dead or alive, huh? That opens it up so much. Dream collaborator would probably be um well, okay, I'll go for, you know, kind of everybody will know this one. I think that collaborating with Hozier would be awesome. I
Yes.
love the way he writes guitar parts. I love his voice, and I harmonize all of his music in the car all the time. And so I would love to like sing with him. I think it would be amazing. If we're talking people who are no longer with us, I would go crazy at the chance to play with Jeff Buckley. Um, and like do some, I don't know, just the way that he sings is wild. The way that he writes is wild. He's like one of the most, I feel like the muses just like go straight into his head and out through his music. He's such an inspiring dude. He's not around anymore, so that is really tragic.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have like any questions about like our blog or anything that you would like want to collaborate on, like promo, like playlist, whatever you want?
I mean, I would be honestly, I was looking at you guys and I'm really interested in this message that like the kind of fangirl aspect I think is so fun. Like I don't um I've never like gotten into a a fan base in that way myself. I'm not really on any of the like big trains. I think that that is really cool. I would love to I don't even know if I'm involved in this, but I would love to see something where like people explain um how like what about an artist makes them want to like get really deep into the fandom. I would love to understand like why what draws people to um engage on such a hard level and not even in a way that makes me that like would be like, oh, how do I get you to fangirl me? But like what is it about an artist that like really grabs big groups of people like that and brings them all together? I think that that's such a unique environment that's like kind of new relatively.
Yeah, that's like an important thing. I'll keep that in mind. I can like maybe like ask around a few people because I have like a lot of groups that I'm in and I can ask around or like post on my story asking like a question. I can definitely do that.
Hmm.
And would you like
Yeah.
to be in our monthly Zine as well as like a few Instagram posts about this interview?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to. I think that this is a cool, you've really found like a niche. I haven't seen any other sort of blog or like publication um, dig into that side of the subject matter. And so I think this is a super cool platform that you've made, and I'd love to be a part of it.
Thank you. Okay, that's kind of all we have today. Thank you so much for doing
Sweet.
this. And if you have
Yeah,
any
thank you.
questions, you can always like email me or like DM us. Thank you so much.
Okay, dope.
Have
Yeah,
a good
thanks. Have a
day.
good one. This has been fun. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.